my Uncle Ben was killed. It was my fault.
I lost Gwen. She was my MJ. I couldn't save her. I'm never gonna be able to forgive myself for that. But I carried on, tried to keep going, try to keep being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because I know that's what she would have wanted, but at some point I stopped pulling my punches. I got rageful. I got bitter.
Even after she was hurt, she said to me that we did the right thing. She told me that with great power
comes great responsibility.
This is not a cameo.
Oh my God, we're gonna die. We're gonna die.
God damn it. Tom Hansen, DEA, on your knees.
What the fuck?
Now!
Nice! Yes!
Awesome. Shut the fuck up!
Little dweebs just ran a 5-year investigation.
We had no idea. You're like an amazing actor, man.
You play saxophone at my sister's wedding, man.
Tough titty, I fucked her too.
What?
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Charles Xavier.
Go fuck yourself.
Now those are cameos. Hello to everyone, my name is Vipernator, and we really do live in a society where every superhero movie nowadays is just confused as being a cameo fest. Like, there's pretty much just no sauce in these movies other than just nostalgia bait. It's just nostalgia and cameos. Well, first of all, I honestly don't think nostalgia is like a bad thing, cause like, you know, what is so wrong about nostalgia? I don't understand that. Like, who doesn't want to be reminded of the good old days? But cameos, like, I kind of get the idea why cameos are kind of looked down upon, just because sometimes cameos are just there to get a cheap audience reaction and not like advance the story in any way. And in that case, cameos are not good. And I noticed a quote from James Gunn where he was talking about exactly this topic, which is there's so much cameo porn in movies, and that he isn't like a big fan of that. So that kind of inspired me to do this video and kind of get my thoughts on it. I'm not trying to take any sides, but I am a little bit more of a Marvel fanboy than DC. But like, for example, in the Superman, the new start of the DCU with Superman, there's a bunch of minor side characters within the movie, like the Hawk Girl and all those guys. Like, if that was Marvel's side, I think other people would still call them cameos, right? But now that they're with DC, I'm waiting to hear how people react to that. Cause if it was a Marvel movie, they would be just labeled as cameos. Or is it really just the fact that they are not played by like super well-known actors? So I kind of just got curious as to what really defines a cameo. So let's go over a few things that is generally understood as a cameo. Then I can bring up a few instances in recent Marvel movies to kind of see how much Marvel actually has cameos, or are they just side characters? Anyway, let's go over what is a cameo. Well, a cameo is generally understood as a brief appearance of a well-known actor or a character that barely affects the movie's story. So, if that cameo is, let's say, removed from the movie, it shouldn't affect the movie's story in any meaningful way. So No Way Home saw the glorious return of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and the common misconception is that Tobey and Andrew made a small cameo in No Way Home and it was just nostalgia bait, but I'm not gonna argue this any further, but Tobey and Andrew in Spider-Man No Way Home are not cameos. They are side characters, or even argument can be made that they're even the main characters after Tom, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon, of course. So I'm not going into that any further. They're not cameos. They're main side characters. All right. What can be made as just cameos in No Way Home? Maybe Matt Murdock. Like that could have been any lawyer, but it does make sense. Marvel used him after all. You know, they got this like huge character roster to pull from, and also it kind of tied back the Netflix side of Marvel back to the main Marvel, main Marvel. I mean, the MCU. Deadpool and Wolverine feels like a cameo buffet, right? Well, not exactly. Aside from like Henry Cavill and a few of the Deadpool and Wolverine variants, most appearances were pretty essential to the story. Like Chris Evans, was he really a cameo? Technically, not a lot would change if he would be removed from the movie and the story. But then again, a lot of movies have that kind of a plot devicey character that kind of introduces the protagonist to the new world and kind of explains the rules, and then either dies or prematurely disappears from the story. The Resistance group, they are not cameos, they're the side characters that kind of drive the main protagonist to the main battle. Quite literally. Doctor Strange 2, yeah, it's fair to say they had a lot of cameos. The Illuminati was mostly just cameos. Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor X, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and Haley Atwell as Captain Marvel, Captain Carter. Pretty much everyone except Mordo. I think he was just a little too integral to the story to just be considered a cameo. But you know, if those members weren't played by well-known actors, would they be considered as cameos? And yeah, Pizza Papa, let's not forget he was a cameo. He was a cameo. Also, like all the post-credit cameos, especially during Phase 4 and 5, I think they kind of exist in this gray area that they're pretty much only there to tease the next project. So all these cameos, I don't think they are cameos, technically. So to wrap this up, sure, some characters are fun Easter eggs or Marvel showing off its vast universe, but most have a real impact on the story, I think. Cameos, when done right, are the seasoning, not the main course. And I feel I've been well fed. Huh? It's a fat joke. But have you been well fed? Or are you still hungry? And yes, I'm milking this food-related analogy for all it's worth. Like a cow in a buffet line. Bruh. Still hungry? Or are you stuffed? Alright, I must admit that was a bit over the top. So, let us hear your honest thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for seconds. because there's always more on the menu. So, wait a minute. Are these minor side characters considered cameos just because Marvel uses their characters sparingly and in between projects? Just to pad out their cinematic universe?